Good morning, my fellow Malaysians. This is Dr. K.N. Singh again from Johor Bahru. It's really hard to stay silent when we see a fence that was supposed to protect the rice field abusing the crop. The Malay saying Pagar, makan, Padi is really appropriate in this public abuse of an old couple which is unveiling in the public media. You must have heard of the story in the public media where the Selangor Welfare Department employees who were asked to investigate a report that a poor Malay couple, Zainab Harun and her husband, who were kicked out from their son's house in Kulim, Kedah after all her EPF savings were spent paying for her son's family groceries, and when they had no longer any money, they were kicked out by their son, who was forced to choose between his parents and his wife. They were then put on a bus to KL where they lived on the streets. They approached the welfare department but were ignored. When they complained, two officers were sent to investigate the matter by the Women, Family and Community Minister Nancy Sukri. These officers scolded them for complaining and told them to leave KL. They took them to the TCS bus station and wanted to send them to Moa where they knew nobody. Zainab begged, saying that she had a job as a dishwasher and did not want to leave. Lucky for them, a friend intervened and took them home. These officers who were supposed to protect the people were abusing them. I hope the government takes action and does not cover their mistakes by transferring them, as they always do, to protect the civil servants. This kind of public servants must be given the boot, as they abuse their jobs when they are paid by public money and become little Napoleons to abuse the public. Now, some advice on what we, the elderly, can do to prevent this abuse. It is said that only daughters care for their parents and most sons follow their wives. This is the price we pay for valuing our sons more than daughters, my friends. I looked after the first Rotary Hospice in Johor in the early 90s for about 7 of its many years, and we had one nurse employed to visit the palliative care patients and old folks' homes where the terminally ill were put when they could not be managed at home. The Johor hospital had kindly given us one bed in the general hospital ward, and our nurse used to go there daily to help. When I visited this 70-year-old terminally ill patient, I used to see his sons and daughter-in-laws coming and massaging his feet. I was impressed with the care and told him he was lucky to have such children. He laughed and told me all they want is my money. I was surprised when he told me that they had brought lawyers' letter for him to sign so they could have his house and property before he passed on. The reason they gave was if it was transferred before death, there would be no estate duty. That made sense, and I asked him what was his objection. He said they will not bother about him if he gave them everything. I could not believe and asked him to reconsider, as he didn't have long to live. This old man with terminally cancer really did not have long to live, but you never know. He then said, "You are a kind man, doctor. Let me show you something." And in the evening, when the children came, he told them he would sign and give them all, as he could not take it with him, and his wife had passed away before him. So he did not need the property. They promptly brought the lawyer, and the signatures were duly taken, and they left. When I went the next day, this man was ill and there was nobody there. We called the children, as he was on the dangerously ill list, but nobody came. I went to see him and he said, "Doctor, this is what I meant. Once they have the property, they are not bothered." A few days later, he passed away and we notified the family, and still nobody came. I was shocked and really upset. Now, what can we do about this? Maybe the government should look into these death duties closely and have a reasonable cut-off point before duties are enforced. 2. Maybe my cancer patient is right, and we should not give any of our hard earned money until we pass away. The death duty is deducted from the inheritance anyway, so the children are not affected. This, I must say, was a real lesson for me, and I'm sharing this with my fellow Malaysians as this is something we will never think about. Now, going back to the Zainab story, there's no excuse why public servants should not be respectful to the public, and the government should cover and protect such officers. They need to remove, just as we remove a leg that has gangrene. I'm sure the Madani government will look into this, and the Pagar, makan, Padi saying will not apply to this government. Sadly, the government is deliberating if Najib, an incarcerated criminal who stole 6 billion from Malaysian coffers and has been given a jail sentence, should be given leave to serve this sentence as house arrest indeed. He has not returned the money, and his 12-year sentence has been reduced to 6 years, and now he insists on house arrest at home? Is this a joke? Zainab and her husband are not important in the scheme of things. Every Malaysian citizen must be equally important, and Madani government must do the right thing, or it will face the wrath of the people during election day. May God bless Malaysia and keep us safe. This is Dr. K. N. Singh saying bye for now.